pomodoro. All bread cooked in tomatoes with some basil, and you got this delicious soup pasta, some left over. Next day, it goes into a frittata. Risotto. Next day, riso al salto. And you got this crispy rice hamburgers, you could say. So whatever you do not waste. Recycle it in some fashion the next day so it's a new dish. Zucchini, peas, and pancetta risotto. Oh, sunny Italy. It looks like Italy, doesn't it? But this is my backyard. This is where I cook. It was a beautiful day, and I decided that we are going to cook outside. And today we're going to make risotto. And risotto, you always ask me about risotto. I made it many times, and you continue to ask me because it's a popular dish. It's an easy dish. All you need is a white pan because you want the rice to cook. You're going to add some liquid, but you want the liquid to evaporate to make the creaminess. So this risotto is going to have bacon or pancetta. This is pancetta. The pancia means stomach in Italian, and it is the belly fat of the pig. But could you use regular bacon? Yes. Even, sometimes you like a prosciutto. The end part of the prosciutto, when you're shopping, and you see them slicing the prosciutto, and then they have like the last part on a bone with the skin. Ask them to sell you that, and it's not expensive. And out of that, you can cut and cook many things. So let's render the pancetta. What's important also in a risotto is you need a liquid to let the creaminess, the starches come out. So you need some hot stock. In this case, this is chicken stock, but you can use vegetable stock. Even if you don't have stock, simple water is okay. It's not going to be as flavorful, but it's okay. But it needs to be hot. So let's get the onions ready. So I'm going to use regular onion here, but you could use leeks. You could use scallions. You can use shallots. Any of the onion family will do, and you can even mix it. Just be careful because the shallots cook much sooner than the onions. So you add the onions first and so on down the line. Okay. So let me render this. So let's talk a little bit about the basics of risotto. For a good risotto, you need a short grain rice. This is arborio. It could be carnaroli. The starches in the short grain rice, when you add the hot stock to it, it comes out, it seeps out of the kernel, hence making the risotto nice and creamy. But there's a whole technique that once you have learned it, it's easy. So we have rendered the pancetta halfway. I'm going to add on the onions. So I'm thinking, I like to salt my ingredients as I go along. But in this case, the pancetta is salty, so you have to kind of use your judgment. Nonetheless, I think that a little bit of salt to the onion would be a good idea. Not too much, a little bit of salt. So here we are, and when the onion wilts, we'll add the dry rice. Do not wash your rice, because if you do wash it, you begin the releases of the starches, and you will get that mush where the rice is soft and falling apart, and the heart of the rice is not cooked yet. So that's why we are going to toast this rice as it is in the oil and with the onions to form like a little pancit. So now let's toast the rice. I always get the question, do I have to stand by the pot and mix? Well, you do have to stand by and mix. And now we're going to add, at this point, when it's nice and toasted, you hear it clicking. I'm going to add some white wine. Now the rice is absorbing in the acidity, the flavor of the wine. And we're going to let this completely dry out. The wine is going to be absorbed by the rice, and the alcohol is going to evaporate. Just enough to cover the rice, because 1 cup of rice will yield 2 cups of risotto and will take 3 cups of liquid to get there. And I'm gonna lower it a little bit, continue to mix, and I'm gonna get my vegetables ready now. So here I have an email from Lisa. She is wondering when my recipes calls for bacon, am I really using pancetta? So they're two different things. Bacon is cured as a slab, and ultimately it is sliced or cut in pieces, and it has a lot of fat, and in between it has some of the meat. Pancetta is the stomach of the pig, but the Italians season it, salt, peppers, and they roll it like into a jelly roll, and then let it age that way. Sometimes I recommend pancetta, sometimes I say bacon, but they're interchangeable. You can use one or the other. So the rice is cooking, and let's put in the zucchini. That's good. Let's mix that. Okay, I see it's a little sticky. Make sure you go in all the corner. I have a nice round pot, which is good. Let's add a little bit of hot stock again, just enough to cover the rice. Next, frozen peas, defrosted. The frozen peas take less time to cook. And, of course, we all love corn. Everybody loves corn. I love corn. I'm looking at this and I know that I need some salt for the vegetables. Okay, I'm gonna add some chives. Chives are delicious, especially in risotto like this. There's the last step in making the risotto, which is mantecare. Mantecare is to sort of whip up, if you will. And you do that with some room temperature butter and some grated cheese. So I'm looking at this. You see, the sauce is becoming creamier, but the rice is not cooked. In the center, it is more intense white.